Hi. Uh, as usual, I had another plan for today or tonight. Oh, it's still bright, even though it's pretty late. So I had another plan for today's video. Uh, I felt like coming back to the topic of ADHD, especially as I am deep in the research, reading, uh, like broadening my horizons in this area, together with a few of my friends as well. Uh, but somehow I came back home and I decided no, no. Then I thought, oh my God, maybe it's my ADHD procrastination or something like that. But I couldn't. I really couldn't get down to making this video. Then I thought, okay, it means that today is not the day for this kind of video. Then I was thinking about some other things, but each of the ideas I had was like, nah. So I thought, okay. So surprisingly, I have a spare evening. I have a free afternoon, and I'm not going to use it for some creative stuff that could be helpful to someone. And I was like disappointed. So I actually, a few minutes ago, I asked my spirit guides. Really, I asked my spirit guides, like, spirit guides, please give me some kind of a hint, give me a sign what I should be talking about. And then a new song started playing in the radio, and it was about tears. And I was like, oh my God, it was one of the things I really wanted to talk about. And one of the things I mentioned in my stories last year, which was one of my milestones, actually, I think in my ascension, pretty important. So let's start. People cry. Oh my God! Now I feel like called to my other topic that I also mentioned last year, that men cry. Really, men cry. Surprise! Men cry, and they should cry. But I think I will talk about it later or tomorrow or something like that. I just wanted to do. I just wanted to start with people who cry somewhere in public, and why you shouldn't ignore that. Uh, Nowadays, in most cases, we are taught to mind our own business, and people usually mind their own business. So we like walk through the city, or we commute. I know, by train, by bus, and so on, listening to some music, podcasts, audiobooks, and so on. Uh, Actually, I also have my earphones, my AirPods, always in my ears, trying like to, okay, first of all, trying to use this time for something important to me, for some learning. And secondly, I really want to stay in my own inner world, and not to engage too much in this hustle and bustle of the rush hour when I go to work and back. So I stay in my own inner world. That's true. And most people do it. They are like in their own world. They do not interact with others, and they don't see the world around. Is it good? I'm not the person who would judge this situation, because like everything, we have some uh, positive and negative aspects thereof. Of course, on the one hand, you could say, yes, you should somehow be aware of what is happening around you. You are part of this world, so you should be, like, consciously part thereof, and you should listen to, observe, feel, and so on. And it's true, and it's a very good argument. On the other hand, many people will say it's also important to use the time you have. we do not have so much free time. So use the time you have for something that will boost your self development. So listening to books or to some music or to podcasts, I don't know, on any topic that is interesting and crucial to you, like psychology, or maybe something about art, or I don't know, literature, whatever. uh, yeah, it's also a very good choice. So probably, probably we should find a balance. Like everywhere, we should find balance between one and the other option. But what I want to highlight is we are taught to mind our own business and not to uh, actually not to see other people. Uh, we are kind of taught to ignore them as long as they do not really interact with us, like boom, bump into us, or ask us something really directly. I know, touch our arm or something like that. So if everything if everything seems fine, I guess it's fine. But sometimes we have these situations that people cry. Really, people sometimes cry in public. And yeah, there can be different reasons, therefore. But I am of the opinion, if somebody is not able, to stop, to control themselves, because our society, yeah, on the one hand we promote being open and so on. People are not ashamed that they go to some psychotherapies or to psychologists anymore. Yes, I still remember the years, and I still know people who are of the opinion that it's a shame to seek for some professional help, which of course is a shit. And okay, probably I should have said the other word silently. Okay, so it's not very wise. It's not very wise to claim so. So oh my god, those typical loops in my thinking. So on the one hand, uh, people are taught to show their emotions, to talk about their emotions, but on the other hand, we are still taught that we shouldn't show them publicly. So like we can talk about it with our friends, maybe in some cases with our colleagues. We are taught that we can go to a psychologist and talk about such stuff there, or show our emotions, but we shouldn't do it in public. Yeah, poker face, mask, and so on. I don't know. I'm called to talk about masks, wearing masks. Yeah, and most of us learn to do so, and they are very good at pretending. People are very good at pretending, not showing the pain, not showing their emotions, not showing their fears, and so on. A lot of people, like really close in their own castle, wear those masks, and do not show those emotions even to people who really wish them well. Mm, yeah. So when we think of that, uh, so if somebody shows their emotions, and not like very positive emotions, not like laughing in public, smiling in public, or something like that, but really showing this pain and this I know, fear maybe, but mostly is pain, and they cry in public, it means that the situation is probably already very bad, and you shouldn't ignore such people. uh, yes, somebody says yes, but what can I do, and so on. I will tell you in a moment. I will share my personal story. uh, it was like it was like 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, when all my life really crashed. Yeah, crashed down. Everything I had suddenly ceased to exist. uh, at the same time, uh, my god, I don't know if I should share so many personal stories, but maybe I will. It's nothing to be ashamed of. So, like my relationship, okay, now from 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 the longer perspective, I know it wasn't the relationship, and I know that we weren't happy in that relationship, and I know that that I was like meant to be for someone else. But at that point, when my relationship yeah ended after a few years, it was tough. So within 2 days, I was informed that the company I worked for was going to uh, yeah, like reduce the staff harshly at the end of the year, because the partners, the, like, we can say CEOs, let's call them like that, not to give too many details about that company, like they decided to go separate ways, and they were going to do it with the end of the year. Uh, so most of the team was aware of the fact we would be like made redundant, because there would be no job for us. So that was one thing. Another thing, we had a flooding in our city. It was a serious flooding, and the house where I lived, yeah, uh, was really underwater. Okay, maybe not the apartment where I lived, but the whole cellar with everything that we and our neighbors had there was like underwater. And I spent a very long and tough night together only with my neighbor, her husband, and her son, because all the other guys were somewhere else from the whole tenement house. And we didn't have any pumps or anything like that, and only with buckets we were trying to save our house and our cellar, and especially the central heating there. Next day, I was informed that a good friend of mine, of mine and of my partner at that time, uh, that he took this decision, to not to live any longer. I do not want to use other words, especially on YouTube. And then my partner also informed me that our relationship had come to an end, and he told me we are not a couple any longer, and start looking for a new place to live for yourself within 2 days. Yeah, as you can see, I have survived. It was not that funny. It was not that funny. Yeah, of course, I had some other problems at the same time. It wasn't only that, it was just this cherry on top within 2 days. So as you can imagine, I was in a bad mental state. And I remember that, of course, I was forced to find a new apartment quickly, which is almost impossible in the city where I live. If you have lots of money, then it's maybe easier. But if you earn like average, and you want to stay in a nice part of the city, not in some kind of weird place, it's not easy. It's really difficult, and I asked a few people for help, and almost no one helped me, apart from my neighbor at that time, with whom I'm still friends with her and her husband. So yeah, to cut the long story short, I found an apartment, and I started, with the whole move and so on. So I was all the time somewhere between my old apartment, where I still lived with my ex for some weeks, and my new apartment. And very frequently I was just crying on my way. I was just crying, wandering the streets of my city, of this part where I lived, and crying in public, because I couldn't stop myself. It was that difficult. And it's I wouldn't say that I live in a place where people are, like, I don't know, ignorant, especially this part of the city, where I live. It's a rather posh part. You want to have this zip code. People judge you by your zip codes in our area, and it's the zip code you want to have. And still, you know what happened when I didn't look like some kind of a beggar or something like that. I think that I look pretty normal, and I look more like a person with a relatively good job and a good background. Of course, not to offend anyone, but I mean, it's nothing that somebody would think that it's something is weird with me. So like a typical woman wearing her business shirts and business attire, always wearing her makeup and so on, and yeah, walking down the street and crying. The point is, it happened many times. It happened many times during the day, during the evening, at night. And quite a few people saw me, and nobody reacted. Nobody reacted, not even a single time. No matter of their gender, no matter of their age, no matter of their origins, because of course we all okay, most people here of course have some background that they were born in another country, not necessarily in Germany, or maybe their parents and so on. So we have a beautiful multicultural, multiracial mixture. So no matter the color of their skin, no matter the language they speak as their L1, nobody reacted. Nobody asked me what was going on. Nobody asked me if I needed help. I was all alone. All the time, I was all alone. I managed. I had no I had no other choice. Okay, there is always this another choice, but please do not even consider it. Because from my experience, and unfortunately it wasn't a single situation, I know what happens to people who stay. So I managed. But after that, I promised myself I would never ignore a person who cries in public. I will never do it. And I could think, okay, it's just a promise, it's just a thought, but let's check it in practice. And of course, I did not wish anyone to be in such a situation that they would cry in public. And I wasn't like hoping, oh my God, now maybe I'm gonna see someone who's crying and I will be able to show that what I promised to myself is the reality. No. And yeah, like almost a year ago, it was already like early summer. I think it was June. So actually, a year after all those things had happened. So a year after, I was visiting my family. By family, I mean my genetic family, but I mean mostly my friends and my sister by heart. So I was in the city, I was in the region where I originally come from, where I was born, and it was a typical June afternoon, pretty warm, sunny, peaceful, and after the whole day of doing various things, visiting various places, yeah, it was really intense. In the evening I was at my mother's apartment. I took care of my dog. My dog is yeah an elderly guy, so he doesn't feel like walking too much any longer, because he has serious heart problems and such stuff, so cardiological problems. So after a short walk with Billy, I decided to go for a long walk myself, just around the whole area. It's also like a place with numerous apartment blocks and so on. And I was walking along the street, and these were like apartment blocks, some small shops. And first, what I saw first was a group of men, guys like in their 50s, 60s, so average. From my perspective, is average. If you're in your 20s, probably you would say we are all old. But average guys, like, I don't know, 6 of them, 8 of them, quite a few, sitting on a bench and standing by that bench, laughing, enjoying their afternoon, enjoying their time, and so on. And just a few meters away, like I don't know, a few steps away from them, in front of one of the apartment blocks, there was a woman. I would say she was similar age, so like in her 50s or maybe 60s. I'm very bad at assessing people's age, because I always think they are younger, because I'm still sure that I'm very young, and I'm not any longer. But she was standing there all alone in front of that apartment block, actually surrounded by people, maybe not just next to her, but very, very close, a few meters away. And she was crying like hell. It was, my God, I'm an empath, so it hurts me. It hurts me a lot. Her pain was immense. Her pain was, I cannot even describe it. It was, oh, we have a beautiful sunset now. It was so intense. It was so immense. It was like this most, I don't know, oh my God, like eternal. I cannot even find words. It was the purest pain I've seen in my life. She was standing there crying, aching. Nobody reacted. And I looked at her. I don't know if it was at the same moment, or I noticed it a moment later. Like I realized she was wearing like some kind of casual clothes that you usually wear when you're at home, and some kind of casual slippers and so on, like as if she had run out of her apartment. So when I saw her, yes. So I saw it at the beginning. Yes, so she looked like a person who just ran away from their apartment. So she was standing there and crying. So my first thought was, oh my God, maybe someone has just hurt her. Maybe it was a domestic violence. Maybe her husband or her wife. It's also possible, but I thought like more like husband. Oh my God, I have goosebumps. I have goosebumps and chills. Oh my God, it's so cold now. I feel cold. I thought maybe somebody has just hurt her. Maybe she just ran away, and she's in need for help or something like that. So I immediately approached her, and I asked if she needed help, and she was like, no, I'm fine. I looked at her and I said, I see that you are not fine. And she was like, no, I'm fine. And I said, no, you are not fine. I see that you are in pain. What can I do for you? How can I help you? And she looked at me and she said, you cannot help me. My son has just killed himself. I've just received a phone call that my son is dead. Trust me, guys, that was not the answer I expected. That was not the answer I expected, and in the very first millisecond, I didn't know how to react. Because if you meet a mother who has just lost her child, I don't want to say that there is nothing worse, because each pain is genuine. Oh my God, that was the word I was looking for. Each pain is genuine, and each loss is genuine, in my opinion. But it was, it was something that I couldn't even imagine. So she just received a phone call, ran away, and was there, and I was like, okay, so yes, so I'm terribly sorry for you. I cannot even express it. but why are you, but why are you here? And she was like, you know, because I am waiting for my husband to come. And I was okay. And I asked her, and is he on his way? Does he know already? And she said, yes, he knows, and he's on his way. So I'm waiting here for him. And I was like, I looked at her and I said, I'm so sorry. I cannot help you. Even though I want, I cannot help you, but I will stay here with you and wait for him. And you know, and this is what I did. I just like hugged her, you know, a stranger, just a stranger. And I hugged her and she was crying there and I was standing there trying, you know, not to break completely. Fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, I don't know, her husband came after like 2 or 3 minutes. And he picked her up, and she got on the car and they drove away, probably, you know, like to identify the son. So energetically and emotionally, it was one of the toughest experiences of my life. Okay, there were there were a lot of tough experiences, of course, but I can tell you that feeling and that experience shook me to the ground. That shook me to the ground. So I went further because I was on my way to a small park nearby. So I sat in that park. I sat down on a bench and I started analyzing it. And that was the moment when I first felt called to start such videos. And I made a short, not that short, but shorter than this one. Oh my God, it's again almost half an hour. So I made a video. I posted this as a story where I yeah told that story. And I was grateful that I was ready. I was ready because yeah, as I told you in other videos, I started my main ascension. Okay, my main part of my ascension journey in March last year. So it was a few months later. Now, when I think of it, after almost a year, I think, oh my God, I was so unprepared, and there were so many things I did not know at that point, and now I am much more aware and conscious. And of course, there are a lot of things I still need to learn. Never trust anyone who says they know everything. Just an off top, but trust me, never trust anyone who says they know everything and they've learned everything, because the real ascension and self-development journey is a never-ending journey, and you're gonna learn all your life. As soon as you understand it, you know, you're on a good way. You're going in right direction. Anyway, I was so grateful that I had met some of my yeah, human spirit guides who are still in their human bodies, who had prepared me in some way, therefore. And it was a very deep and touching experience. And as you can see, I still have chills. So what I wanted to tell you, look, it was a woman, just a woman, standing in front of the apartment block, surrounded by people, where nobody reacted. No one thought what happened and think what had happened to her. What had happened to her? So you never know. Sometimes the fact that you do not ignore others may really help them. Maybe you will just be able, you know, to help them go through something like I did. And sometimes they might be that sun. And if somebody reacts, maybe it's just the very last moment to save somebody's life. And of course, I know some people will start arguing, it's not my business, it's not my stuff. And what if I ask somebody if they are fine and they will tell me to get off, not to use worse words. You know, I think, no, I don't think, I know This is the one thing I've already learned. It's better to hear, screw you, it's not your business, and to go away like, okay, if you don't need my help, then that's fine, than not to react and then read a paper that something terrible has happened. So it's already half an hour again. I'm gonna finish this topic. Remember what I said. Remember what I said. And yeah, if you are the person who cries in public, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I wasn't also brave enough, but maybe sometimes it's good to ask somebody for help. Because I cannot imagine that if somebody asked me for help, and you know, people ask you for help in other circumstances, but I don't think that if somebody asked me for help and they told me what is happening, I would like reject them and not try to find any solution. So be empathic, be kind. That's the message for today, for tonight. Be kind. Thank you for listening to me. Bye, guys.